first 1,000 subscribers in just 7 days, and thereby rapidly expanding your initial YouTube channel using this strategy. I utilized this approach and was also able to develop several more channels from scratch without investing in advertising, without leveraging other social networks, purely through organic reach on this platform, which now enables me to earn a living from YouTube. And no, I'm not here to sell you any courses. I will share all the insights I've accumulated over years, including numerous setbacks, completely free of charge. Ever since I was young, I've been calling YouTube. But I could never find the ultimate video, the one that genuinely teaches you how to progressively advance on this platform, so I decided to create it myself. I advise you to watch till the end, because if you do, you will be among the 1% who truly understand how to succeed on YouTube today. Step number 1, niche definition. But what exactly is a niche? Essentially, it's the central theme or focus of your YouTube channel. There are countless niches available for selection, including sports, health, travel, education, and more. I suggest compiling a list of niches that interest you the most, after which we'll evaluate which are viable and which are not. Within the niche, there are 2 crucial aspects we need to consider. The first aspect we will explore is the sub-niche along with micro-niches. This is critical because we cannot afford to produce identical videos to those created by the most popular YouTubers who already possess a solid audience base. They have this advantage over new creators, which is why adopting a more strategic approach is essential when launching a new channel. To better illustrate the significance of sub-niches and micro-niches, I'll reference Luisito Comunica as an example. As the prime example, Luis Comunica currently operates within the travel niche. At present, he has the flexibility to discuss any nation or location worldwide because he possesses a substantial follower base, holds authority, and could potentially dominate the entire travel niche on his channel, discussing any country he desires, like Colombia, the United States, Chile, and others. However, when initiating a YouTube channel, the appropriate strategy would be to concentrate on the broader niche, which is travel, and then refine this focus further into a sub-niche, such as selecting a specific country like France. Once the sub-niche is selected, we must delve deeper to identify our micro-niche, where we'll focus our content creation efforts. This would be the micro-niche within this expansive niche. This should be our initial point for beginning to produce videos and building an audience. This way, you could become recognized as the go-to expert on everything related to Paris, and eventually, like Luisito Comunica, you could begin to broaden your scope by producing videos about other cities in France until you encompass the entire travel niche of that country. This method is how to effectively grow step by step. Let's move on to the next component, market analysis, which involves understanding both supply and demand. This phase is crucial for assessing whether the niche you've selected will be viable or, conversely, if it won't be as effective. But during this stage of market analysis, you'll discern if they are genuinely profitable or not. But before delving into the methodology, let's grasp this concept. The market comprises 2 essential components, namely supply and demand. On YouTube, the same principle applies. Only that it is a digital market here, the supply would be the channels or creators who are already making videos, and the demand would be the type of content that people want to see or consume. I'll give you an example. In other words, if people want to see kitten videos tomorrow, your job as a creator will be to create kitten videos for that audience that wants to see precisely that. And because this is one of the most important and key points within the planning, because it matters a lot, I am going to teach you 3 in this video. Step 1, look for a topic of interest related to your niche. It can be any keyword, phrase, or any topic of interest that you think people may be interested in. Step 2, when you get the results, enter different channels with a size of approximately 100,000 subscribers. I do not recommend that you look for channels with more than this figure, because in those cases, analyzing the number of visits can be really very diffuse. When you enter these channels with approximately 100,000 subscribers, you should observe the number of visits they have on their videos. Step number 3. If you see that during the last 3 months there are videos on their channels that exceed 200,000 or 300,000 views, I remind you of a channel with 100,000 subscribers because this is usually a positive indicator that there are many people interested and a market willing to want to consume content on those topics from there. You can take some of those ideas so that you can make your own videos about something similar within your channel. Step number 3. If you want to be more specific with the market study, you can still enter the topic in the search engine as already. We said it in step 1, but you can also filter for this month from 4 to 20 minutes so that you do not get YouTube shorts. And then in the visit count, you will clearly have fewer results from the last 30 days. But it also usually works accurately because they are the topics that are of interest precisely in this same month. This here is the key to finding current topics of interest that interest the public. And in this way, we will not waste our time. A general rule is that the fewer subscribers the channels have and the higher the number of views, the more accurate the indicator will be that you are doing a good market study. Why? Because if they have less audience, and if they have more visits than usual, it is because they usually found a point of interest in the market for a broader audience, that you can also take advantage of method number 2. Another method to do an effective market study is to use common sense when faced with topics of interest or trends of the moment. For example, the case of the submarine that sank in the Titanic a few months ago kept the entire world in anticipation for almost a week. It was a terrible tragedy, but it was a global trend that made many small channels grow that took advantage of that wave. And of course, creating content about it for such a high demand that existed by users. Method number 3. You can use tools such as Google Chrome extensions, such as vidIQ, that will help you put the number of subscribers of each channel when performing each search at the bottom of the video. This is very important because it can save you a lot of time, especially in the first method, and you will not have to manually enter each channel one by one. In addition, this tool already has a parameter that indicates the saturation of a term and the competition within your niche. My recommendation is that if you enter your search term and you get a result with a score of 60%, approximately in a term that you are researching, it can also be useful and you can continue with the idea. This has been the market study recapitulating once again. The most important thing you have to consider is entering a micro niche where you can reach enough demand for them to watch your videos. Now let's move on. Phase number 2. Possibly this phase with number 1 is the most important of the entire circle, because if you don't do well the first 2 phases, you may fail on YouTube. So pay close attention to what I am going to tell you. Viability refers to the capacity that a project, in this case a YouTube channel, has to be successful and sustainable, taking into account these 5 factors. The first element of viability is the originality. But what does this mean? Can I be more original or improve what is currently in my niche? Because I am going to tell you a secret. If you are going to explicitly copy what is already there, don't even try, because you won't highlight the second element of the viability is innovation. You must find the quality that distinguishes you from others so that it is more visible and attractive. This way you will make your videos stand out from the rest. I faithfully believe that all human beings stand out in something. They can do anything from the way they speak. Personality, your opinion, how you tell it, make miniatures in a different way, etc. Find what makes you in some way different from the rest so that you can enter the market in the unique and most innovative way possible. The third element is profitability. Here we must recognize the potential of our niche in the short, medium, and long term, and ask ourselves, these topics that I talk about in my videos currently will still be of interest or relevant to my audience after 6 months, 1 year, or 5 years. This is key to those who want stability within YouTube, but I repeat it only for those who are looking for stability. Because if you want to grow with immediate topics such as trends or news, it is also valid to learn to recognize when a channel is stable versus a fashion channel so that you can rethink your strategy. For instance, the fidget spinner was a passing fad that undeniably propelled many channels to prominence, but now it's an insignificant and overlooked subject. Conversely, a tutorial channel can produce content addressing timeless needs because, for instance, tutorials on how to tie a tie or fold a shirt will always remain relevant as people continue to seek guidance on these matters. A term that encapsulates profitability perfectly is audience allegiance. Some niches boast incredibly loyal audiences who consistently consume content without pause. Take, for example, niches like Harry Potter, a timeless film with a devoted following, or the Pokemon video game, which maintains relatively stable viewership without dramatic spikes in traffic. This enduring interest ensures their sustained relevance over the long haul. The subsequent factor to consider is saturation. Put simply, saturation occurs when every creator within a niche follows the same formula without innovation. It's as straightforward as observing the prevailing trends and consciously avoiding duplication. Example in the finance niche. Currently, everyone uploads the famous video on how to make money on the internet. That is already a saturated format point of viability, and it is one of the most important you must realize and evaluate. If you were able to comply with each aspect mentioned above, yes, the answer, yes, you can continue in the next phase. Otherwise, I recommend that you change the micro niche or sub-niche again if necessary, or in more extreme cases. I recommend that you change the niche so that each point of viability fits perfectly. But please, no give up, because you must be willing to try and experiment enough, because remember that not everything remains in theory. Phase number 3, audience. YouTube channel to be successful. Understanding your audience is the key to getting started to plan the content that, yes, it will be successful. As Mr. Beast once said, the audience is the algorithm. If people like your video, it will be promoted. Here are 2 elements that will be very useful and that you can use to your advantage. They will allow you to know what videos can be interesting for the audience. The first element that I recommend is be a viewer. There is no better way to understand people than to be yourself the first viewer of your niche, if you usually watch videos of your niche in which you want to start. By uploading videos, you already have a great advantage ahead of you, because as a viewer, you understand what your audience likes to see, and therefore you understand what your potential future viewer will like to see within your channel. You will also know how to identify what they don't like about your videos. Read the comments, either from your videos or from others in your same niche. This is one of the most invaluable sources to understand what they want to see. If you make videos that your audience likes, they will also like them. Next element, topic. This will be your first task. I need that when you search for a term in the search engine regarding your niche, you analyze the topics that are currently working and write them down to make a list of them. And that is to have a list of winning topics within your niche. They will help you for the next phase, which is writing headlines. If we go to the niche, for example, sports, then we dig deeper into the sub-niche of basketball, and finally we delve deeper into the micro-niche, which is the NBA. There will be several topics of interest, such as the news, summaries of matches, the players, etc. These are the topics of the videos that are interesting to the audience, but please do not confuse headlines with topics or formats. With topics, the topics are one thing, the titles are something else, as well as the formats. We will also see each one of them, point by point, so just be patient. Phase number 4. The idea of the idea often depends on the success of a video. If you have a good idea and well executed, you will have a winning video to make it easier for you. The idea is equal to the title of the video, that is, the context that the video will have must be so attractive that it is irresistible to the click. A good title and easy to read, it must have, under my personal recommendation, a maximum of 52 characters. But let's go with the most important elements of the idea. Element number 1 is the identification to be able to make good titles. Well, I am going to help you have a very clear structure. First of all, just like the topics, you must identify those headlines that are currently already working for your competition in their videos. Clearly, they will be the ones that have the most visits. So, make a list of the best and copy them. Verbatim later, you will see why, as long as you are a beginner, I do not advise you to make headlines that you have in mind, titles that are working, and that is why you should follow each step at the bottom of the letter. It is time to see the next element, title formats. What is a title format? You will understand with the following example, returning to the trips, never travel to. Without knowing this, 5 places to eat in from €1, this here. It is a headline format, possibly one of the most powerful elements that exists. It is the decoration of the video. This causes one video to have 1 million views and another on the same topic only 1,000. Your next task will now be to create a list of formats that already exist. Work within your niche, but I will give you this trick if you want. You can also use other totally different niches and apply their formats in your videos. For example, this video is from the video game, precisely from Minecraft. Its title is Only 1% Survives in this pixel step. Minecraft, the important thing here is that you must learn to distinguish its title from its format. In this case, the format would be Only 1% Survive in this one. What you can do is reuse, for example, this format intelligently and apply it for your niche. In the following way, Only 1% Survive and will achieve a video with the title and the winning idea. These channels that you are watching right now on the screen have already applied the formats that I mentioned before. And as you can see, this channel has achieved many visits and subscribers by applying the correct headline format. Although clearly the thumbnails can be greatly improved, but we will talk about the thumbnails in a few moments. What I want you to understand is that you need to have a list of winning formats. So when you already have an idea, you can just test if they fit with any of them. So you will have a better chance of success in your future videos. The next element is the scope. It is somehow connected to the formats. The scope of the ideas or headlines, as I said before, is what will determine the possible number of visits that we can have. For example, if I show you this following headline, Messi's 3 best goals in January. Here there are several things to analyze regarding the scope of this title. The first thing is that this title is temporary. That is, it has an expiration date, which is January, when Argentina plays other games in the future, such as in the following month, which would be February. Very possibly it will come out again as a video about the same thing, and this headline will lose interest and will be forgotten because it will be a thing of the past. On the other hand, 50 times that Lionel Messi surprised everyone. The scope of this headline is incredibly high since unlike the previous one, which only focused on a specific time of the year, this one here is timeless. In other words, it has no expiration date. It is also eye-catching and its purpose is entertainment. It is a good example of a format and a winning title. And now let's move on to the next one. Remember that I asked you to notice and make a list of the best topics, titles, and most relevant formats. Well, now I will tell you what all this is going to do for us. We will create a table with 3 columns. In the first, we will write down the most relevant topics that you found in your niche. In the second, the winning titles that you found, and the same for the third column with the formats. This table here is going to be very important for you when you start on YouTube, because it will be what will allow you to create your first titles successfully for your videos. The process is really very simple. Once the table is filled out, I recommend that to create your title, you use at least one element from each column, a topic, a title, and a format. I suggest that you make the selection based on your personal tastes so that you can make a video about that winning headline. Once you have selected these 3 elements, you can now combine it in countless ways as you see fit, or you can take another element from the column that you want until you find and form something unique, and don't let it be repeated. And when you have your headline ready, simply search for it on YouTube to see if no one else has done it before. That way, you will have achieved an original and successful headline. Let's move on to the next element, is ChatGPT. This extra tool will help you have more video ideas and thus create more attractive headlines. You will go to the most popular videos of your niche. At the bottom, you will see these 3 points of each video where they will press everything. We will copy it, and we will go to ChatGPT. Once inside, you will request him, give me the 3 main ideas from this script that I can use as ideas for my videos. And that's it, you paste the transcription that you previously copied, and this way you will have more ideas for headlines. Now that you know everything about headline and title formats, you will understand how you can create an attractive video, and also what format saturation means. But wait, before continuing, let's take a pause here. If you have reached this point in the video, I congratulate you and let me tell you that I am really very proud of you. You are doing quite well. I remember that my first YouTube channel was not a success at all. Indeed, it was a complete failure. No one watched my videos and everything was clear. Because I did not have a well-defined structure before continuing with the next phase, I just want you to know that I had several channels, that them closed it in the past, many of videos that did not work. Despite that, I continued and continued. Everything for one simple reason, because I believed in myself and clearly because I had discovered that this was my passion from the beginning. we have to be realistic. According to official YouTube data, it is known that less of 2% of all the channels on this social network are monetized, and the other 98%. No, but I'm not telling you this so that you'll be disappointed. I want to advise you because if there's one thing I can assure you, it's the following. If you follow each facey that I explained you in this video until the end and don't give up, I assure you that you are going to belong to that 2%. Nothing in life is easy, so prove that you deserve to be in that small percentage and gain that place. Phase 5. Welcome to one of the most important elements of YouTube. This is the element that, along with the title, will make it all worth it. The logic here is quite simple. If people click, they will see you. If not, you have lost. We start with each element that has to do with the thumbnails. Number 1, differentiating element. What are they? The thumbnails that your competition is using. This matters, so that you can create your own plan and style. So it will stand out from them with different colors, different elements, but same attractiveness, which element user intention. This is what separates the winning videos from the ones losing videos. In a few words, you must understand that what you put in your title and the thumbnail, you must comply with 100% when you show it in your video. That is knowing how to respect the user's intention. The next element that we will see is clickbait. This concept on YouTube can be very subjective and abstract, but in a very summary way, good clickbait is enough to exaggerate a little to attract attention and increase the attractiveness of your video, but not to transform your idea into deception. Moving on to the next element, we have the triggers. Out of curiosity, surely at this point you will ask yourself, okay, but how do I make a good thumbnail? What elements should a thumbnail have to be considered a successful thumbnail? Well, for that, we have the curiosity triggers. For example, the quietest room in the world survived. A very detailed miniature where clearly the curiosity triggers are the environment that is very evident that it generates a feeling of confinement. This is very consistent with the headline. Another element is the subject in the middle. His expression says it all. And finally, a text that ends up complementing the idea of the video. 41 minutes inside. As you realize, you don't need a lot of text, but the most important thing is to help complete the context of the idea within the thumbnail. If we see the first seconds of the video, this creator fulfills the user's intention perfectly. He literally puts what he has shown in the thumbnail during the first seconds, and that is what makes it a successful video. On the other hand, here we have someone who replicates the same thing, but in the correct way, and that is how you should do it. YouTube, the family survived the quietest room in the world, is clearly different but equally successful because it knew how to replicate each trigger of curiosity, only that it did so in its own way and with its own style. Last element is resources. I will suggest some web pages will be very valuable for you because what they are going to allow you will be check how they are displayed before you publish your video. It will also allow you to compare them with other results from other creators to see if your thumbnail stands out or not. I will leave a note of them in the description. Phase number 6. Format of videos. It is important, but you do not confuse the video format with the headline or title format. This point is focused, enter the video itself and how you present it to the public. You do it the same as the rest, or you are really differentiating yourself in something, its main element. It is only one, the only format. I'm going to give an example so that you understand better, but the following example is not intended to discredit anyone's work. Learning mathematics. Surely we have all seen some videos teaching with a person talking behind a blackboard, which is not bad, but it is a classic and saturated video format. On the other hand, this other video is titled, The Discovery That Transformed the Calculation of PII. We see the big difference between the thumbnail and the headline, and of course also the format of the video, how it is presented. Here they talk about mathematics too, but they teach it in a much more didactic way with pizzas. And although it is somewhat funny, you must understand that it is the power of the format of the originality of a video that will help you stand out from the rest and achieve virality. Let's move on to the next step, which is the metadata. Congratulations at this point of the video. You have already come quite far, and we are very close to publishing your first video. Now you will simply have to apply the correct metadata to your video when uploading it so that the algorithm understands to which audience it should be recommended. The title must be added as we developed it previously without any extra modification, because you have already done the necessary study and we know what works. YouTube will always read your metadata in order of relevance. Starting with the title, which is the main thing. Secondly, the description, in which, if you can, also detail as much as possible what your article is about. You can also use GPT chat in this step if you want to help you. And the third element in the order of relevance is the tags. It is the least important nowadays, but still includes the keywords that describe your niche and the video to help YouTube to promote it to the correct audience. Let's move on. Now with last phase. You have to know that on YouTube there are 3 ways to grow currently. The first is recommendations. This is what we have learned today, the way to grow organically through long-form videos, the most profitable format that exists today on YouTube. Because if you understand it and apply it step by step as I have taught you in this video, you will be able to grow your channel to unimaginable. Search. We will not see this element for this time, but it is another very interesting way, especially to grow in an evergreen way, that is, with the passage of time and without expiration, appearing and gaining the first positions over your competition. This will allow you to generate passive income with YouTube advertisement, YouTube Shorts. This is the most recent element that YouTube has introduced to its platform, the new short format video content that tries to compete with TikTok, which also has its good and bad things, but also needs another complete video, so that you understand everything in its entirety. You are already part of the 1%. And now the final message. The video that I would have liked to see when I started. A real video democratizing all the knowledge you need to start on YouTube today from scratch, the way I see it, is the most current and non-obsolete knowledge that exists to date. I have literally just opened Pandora's box for you. If you follow each phases of this circle to the end, and to the letter, and you try hard, believe me, you will be able to achieve anything. I really like a phrase that says, "Great successes come when you give yourself the freedom to fail."